Hi, I'm Harry, a travel fanatic from easyGuide. Today we're going to be talking about 20 things to see, do and experience while you're in London. You can think of this as your ultimate guide to sightseeing in this amazing city. Before we get into it though, don't forget to check out easyGuide before your next trip. It's the easiest way to get tickets to thousands of attractions, tours and theatre shows at the very best prices. Alright, let's get into the video. Number 1. The Tower of London and the Crown Jewels. It's only right to start off with something quintessentially British, and let me tell you, there's plenty of bang for your buck right here. Firstly, you get to revel in the glory of the Crown Jewels, which isn't the first time for some of you, I'm sure. And secondly, you get a guided tour of the ghoulish Tower of London, where old-timey criminals met a pretty nasty fate. The coolest part of the whole thing is that your tour guide is a real Yeoman warder, or as they're more commonly known, thief eaters. The towers are famous for being brutal places of torture, imprisonment and execution, which might be something to bear in mind if you're travelling with anyone kind of squeamish. Number 2. The London Eye. You already knew this one was coming, right? The London Eye is easily one of London's most famous landmarks, and a trip to the top gives you unparalleled views across the city. A complete spin lasts about half an hour, and the Eye's central location makes it really easy to get to other attractions. Be warned though, the London Eye is super popular. Book your tickets in advance to make sure you're not hanging about in a queue all day. Number 3. Westminster Abbey. You might recognise this building for one of the many royal weddings that have been officiated here. 3 billion people tuned in to watch William and Kate, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, get married under this very roof. Even Queen Elizabeth tied the knot right here at the delicate age of just 21. Even if you don't fancy walking the aisle, Westminster Abbey is an amazing spectacle of Gothic architecture and incredible stained glass windows. Plus, you'll get to see the royal throne, the real deal. It's reserved for Queen Lizzie right now though, so don't get any wise ideas. Number 4. St Pauls Cathedral. St Paul's sits right at the top of the highest point in London, making the 530-step climb to the top of its famous dome pretty unforgettable. Inside there's a whole 3 galleries. The Whispering Gallery, the Stone Gallery, and my favourite, the Golden Gallery. Just make sure you get there before 4 PM, otherwise you might find yourself wrapped up in what they call the Choral Evening Song. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? Number 5. Tate Modern. If you're a fan of modern art, there's really no better place to see it than at the Tate. The Tate is beloved by tourists and locals alike, with massive spaces of colourful contemporary art from some of the world's most renowned artists. The building is in a super central location and entry is totally free, making this a complete no-brainer. Also, be sure to check their website and see what exhibitions are on before you visit. Number 6. The National Gallery. Are you an art lover who just wasn't enthused by the Tate Modern? Well, maybe the National Gallery will be more your vibe. Looking out over Trafalgar Square, this massive neoclassical building holds over 2,300 paintings from artists like Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, Rembrandt and Van Gogh. I'd recommend setting aside at least a couple of hours to see the whole collection. Number 7. Madame Tussauds. London is an undeniable favourite of celebs across the globe, but don't expect to see Beyonce walk in the streets. One surefire way of snapping all the celebrity selfies you could ever ask for is with a visit to Madame Tussauds. This attraction is full of 2-scale replicas of your favourite personalities, from Taylor Swift to Marvel superheroes. There's even indoor rides and roller coasters now too. It's a fantastic day out for the whole family. Number 8. SEALIFE. This one is obviously a real winner for kids, but let's be honest, who doesn't love a cheeky penguin? Inside London's finest aquarium, you'll find a glorious rainbow of fish, sharks, sea turtles and so much more. It's even home to the UK's largest jellyfish experience. SEALIFE is right beside the London Eye. That means it's not only incredibly central to loads of other attractions, but it's also super easy to ask for directions. Just head towards that big round thing. Number 9. London Zoo. That's right, we're sticking to the animal theme for this next one. Did you know that London Zoo is actually the world's oldest scientific zoo? Yep, it was built in 1828 and is now the home of over 720 animal species. How mad is that? Whether you're here for the roaring lions or the butterfly sanctuary, London Zoo is the perfect day out for absolutely everyone. Number 10. The O2 Arena Roof Climb. The O2 Arena is mostly known as one of the best live music venues in London. But did you know that you and your friends can actually climb all the way to the top? That's right, the experience lasts about 90 minutes and you can choose to climb in the daytime, when the sun sets, or what they call the twilight climb. It's a pretty awesome way to get some insane views from the top. Number 11. Kensington Palace. Welcome to the home of one of the most famous British monarchs in history, Queen Victoria. There's actually several exhibitions dedicated to her life inside. Kensington Palace was also the residence of Prince Harry and Meghan up until about a year ago. But you don't have to be a royal fanatic to enjoy the luxurious estate. If you're a fan of exquisite Jacobean architecture and deliciously lush gardens, then this will definitely be a treat. This one's great for a nice stroll on a summer's day. Number 12. London by Night, the open tour bus. London really takes on a whole new personality after the sun goes down, and there's no better way to experience the night than with an open air bus tour. You and your friends will cruise past all the most famous sights and attractions as they glitter in the moonlight. Highlights definitely have to be the London Eye, Big Ben, and the twinkling windows of Harrods department store. Number 13. The Tower Bridge experience. The Tower Bridge is one of the most iconic bridges in the world and a real staple of London sightseeing. So it's pretty exciting that you can now step right inside and climb the turrets all the way to the top. Once you've reached the summit, there's a glass floor where you can watch citygoers and riverboats float past. Number 14. London Dungeons. From dizzying heights to underground prisons, we're heading down to the dark abyss of the London Dungeons. This really is one of the major attractions in London. Ask any local and they'll know exactly what you mean. It's a theatrical experience full of horror and gore in the cells where real prisoners were kept 1,000 years ago. The London Dungeons are great for kids and adults alike, but it might be a little too scary for very young or sensitive children. Just bear that in mind. Number 15. The ArcelorMittal Orbit. I'll admit, this strange structure got slated by the British public when it was first announced in celebration of the 2012 Olympic Games. However, since then they've added the world's longest tunnel slide and it's become a thoroughly beloved attraction. It's also the UK's tallest sculpture, and even if you're not down for a slide to the bottom, the view from the top is absolutely insane. Number 16. A hop-on, hop-off River Thames cruise. If you didn't already know, the huge river that runs through the centre of London is called the River Thames, and you can ride it. A River Thames cruise is a fantastic option for those of you who want to see all the best sights in London and do it the fancy way. I really recommend going for the hop-on, hop-off tour because it gives you the opportunity to get off at one of the many piers and explore the city at your own pace. Number 17. Buckingham Palace. The home of the Queen. If you're lucky enough to visit in summer or on certain dates in spring and winter, you can get the chance to tour the staterooms inside the palace. Those tickets sell out fast, but there's plenty more to see and do here. You could check out the Royal Mews, which is the fancy name for the palace stables, or you could hang around and catch the famous changing of the guard ceremony. That's the one with the red soldiers in those big fluffy bearskin hats. Even if you don't manage to catch any of that action, you can get pretty close to the palace just by walking through the gorgeous St James's Park. See if you can spot the Royal Standard flag flying. That means Queen Liz is in the building. Number 18. Harry Potter Warner Brothers Studio Tour. Everyone loves the wonderful wizarding world of Harry Potter, right? Well, now you can step right into the magic with a tour of the studios. That's right, these are the very same studios where the real films were shot. There's plenty of props, costumes and surprises to keep even the most knowledgeable Potterhead entertained. Who doesn't want the chance to walk down Diagon Alley? Be warned though, these tickets tend to sell out way in advance, so check before you go. Number 19. Kew Gardens. Next up is the equally as spellbinding wonderment of Kew Gardens. This is London's largest World Heritage Site and easily one of the most beloved by locals. With 50,000 living plants, it's one of the largest and most diverse botanical and mycological collections in the world. There's also a walkway high up in the trees, which is super popular for both kids and kids at heart. Number 20. Stonehenge. Alright, I'll admit, this last one's not quite in London, but I'm including it as a really great day trip which you can take from London. As maybe the most famous prehistoric monument in the world, I'm sure Stonehenge needs no introduction. It's hard not to be impressed by these 13-foot, 25-ton stones, and we still don't know how they got there. This is a long one though. It takes 90 minutes to get there, so I'd suggest setting aside a whole morning or afternoon for the trip. Alright, that's it. That was 20 ideas you can take with you for your trip to London. I just want to say a big thank you from easyGuide. We're always happy to see you. Don't forget you can head to the easyGuide website for tickets to attractions, experiences, tours and theatre shows all around the globe at the very best prices. I've also put tickets to the attractions mentioned in this video in the video description below. And if you need some more travel inspiration, head to our blog where our team of travel fanatics are ready and waiting to show you the way. Alright, till next time, take it easy.